All right, welcome back to another edition of Who You Got. I'm Greg, he's Jimmy. If it's your first time joining us, please do us a favor, hit that like, subscribe button, and refer us to a friend. If you're joining us again, we appreciate you coming back to hang out with us while we entertain you with our takes on the world of sports and try to give you some best bets to make you some money. Please remember to follow us on X and Instagram at whoyougot33 and send any comments, questions you might have to whoyougot33@gmail.com. And you can also check out some of our content with our friends over at KC Sports Authority on their YouTube channel. All right, Jimmy, football's back. We had a great weekend. I thought we would start there, and then Angel Reese decided to open her mouth and basically said to the Chicago Sky, basically what she said was, our players suck. Get good players around me. What's wrong with you? Didn't go over so well in the locker room.
I would imagine it didn't. Yeah, this is a story that I somehow missed in my busy life that you made me aware of. But yeah, suspended after making comments detrimental to the team, huh?
Yeah, she said, surround me with good players. Basically what she said is, you guys all suck. I'm great. Why do you not see that? I want to win a championship. Get these people out of here. She tried to walk it back. Didn't work. They suspended her for a half. She sat the whole game because her back flared up, which, yeah, I'm going to say that probably didn't happen. And it sounds like she might not play the last 2 games of the year. So my question for you, is she on the Chicago Sky next year, or do they have to deal her? Because you can't replace 7 other people. You might as well just deal her.
I would think they'd probably deal her. The problem is, like, when you make comments like this, you hurt your own stock. So now they're not going to get back what she's worth, right?
Probably true.
So like that's problematic. Yeah, it's sad because we like Angel Reese.
We do.
And I want to see her do well, but it's just a dumb thing. It's a dumb thing to say. It also doesn't sound very competitive to me. I mean, I'm reading through her comments right now. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's not negotiable for me. Like if you're a great player, you elevate everybody and you find a way to get it done. Right? Like, so it's not a good look either way. I would think she'd probably be off the team unless she could pull a complete 180 here. But like I said, her value has, everybody's got to know that they can go after her now and get her for pennies on the dollar. Right?
Yeah, maybe not pennies, but maybe 70% of what she was worth, because she is,
Yeah,
I mean, she's
fair.
2 years in the league and she's dynamic. But I think people are going to use that, obviously, to drive the price down, because you can't, she's going to get the rap now of being a terrible teammate. She's just going to have to live with that probably for a little while, because people are not, obviously, how would you feel if you were on the team? Like, they don't all suck.
Oh, I mean, obviously you're going to be pissed off if you're on the team. Somebody will be willing to, probably to your point, it's probably 70, 80%, because somebody is going to see the talent and be willing to, deal with the attitude. And if she wants to come play for the Liberty, like I would take her in New York. Like, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think there's enough veteran leadership there that they can keep her in line.
And that's the good and bad of being a star, right? You can pop off at the mouth, and while your home team might have to eat it and get rid of you, someone's always going to be waiting there with open arms, because they see the profitability and the chance to win. My follow-up here is, Jimmy, what's Uncle Shaq doing? Like, can you give her some advice? Get her in line. Like, It's not the first time she's done something. Come on, Uncle Shaq. You got to get her in line.
Yeah, for sure. I always try to remind myself that these are young people too. The young men and women that are playing these sports. I can't imagine if I had a microphone in front of me when I was 23 or 24, the dumb shit I'd have been cooked.
So, I did it in high school. Terrible stuff.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great. So, I understand that they're adults, but I do give them some grace. I'm sure these are things that they'll regret later in life. Not everybody does. Some people never grow up. But yeah, it was just a bad move, especially if she really wanted. I don't know, if she wants out, it's not necessarily the best way to get out, or maybe it is. Maybe scorched earth. Maybe the James Harden methodology of scorched earth is the way to do it these days. I'm not sure.
All right, well, that's our WNBA take for this week. Moving on. I just got to ask you, because I've pretty much accepted it. Want to know if you've accepted it too. We, as just America, we suck at men's tennis and soccer, right? Like, just give it up. Don't even, because I mean, we haven't won a Grand Slam title in 20 years. I think it was Andy Roddick was the last one.
Yeah, I don't care as much about the soccer. The tennis bothers me. I thought Fritz was going to get through. We didn't. I'm glad I didn't play yesterday. I knew I was going to watch it because football was on. It's the one, the U.S. Open I keep up with during the week, but it's the one tournament that I never. The Australians on at a wild time, so it's kind of tough too. But the one I don't keep up with as much. But I would have bet Sinner. I'm glad I didn't do it because I would have been on the wrong side of that. But yeah, Fritz was our best chance and couldn't get it done.
Couldn't get it done. Yeah, he barely put up a fight against the Joker. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
who then didn't put up much of a fight himself in the next match.
No, he did not. But it's just getting kind of boring to watch the same two guys in the final every freaking tournament.
Yeah, that's how it works out. Like we talk about in tennis a lot, right? It's not like golf. In tennis, like the best players usually win. You play. I use the analogy: if you played ping pong when you were a kid, like you just were as good as you were. You could beat all the people you're better than 9 out of 10 times, and the people that were better than you might get lucky once, but the rest of the time, they over the course of the game, they just get you. There's no weather conditions and this and that. They just always come out on top. On the women's side, Anisimova got to a final again and showed up a lot better than she did at Wimbledon. So maybe we've got some hope there. Pogula was there. She made the quarters, I think, right?
She made the semis.
She made the semi, yeah.
We had 2 shots.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But we're at least we're getting closer there. My favorite moment in the tournament, not to be off that, and I might have mentioned it last time, was seeing Venus play at 45 in the doubles and actually get somewhere. That was awesome.
Did she win her first round in singles?
I don't know. I don't know if she did or not.
Because they put her on the main court there. It was like the night match of the first day. I just can't remember if she won or not. She might have.
I'm not sure. But I watched the last doubles match that she won pretty much in full. There was nothing. I had it on in the background while I was doing something for the family. But it was awesome. And I'd hoped they were going to get by that next round when she grabbed the mic and said, we need, like, basically told Serena to get to New York and into the booth. And too bad she didn't get any farther, but it was pretty awesome to see a 45-year-old part of the 81 crew. Still out there getting it done. I guess 80.
Well, we've been talking about it since August. I think we've been following it close, and it just every week it seems like it's getting more and more intriguing in baseball and what's going to happen here down the stretch. We got 2 weeks left, and I mean, we'll start in the American League. I mean, obviously the Central's over. The Tigers are moving on. The West has gotten a little more interesting now with the Mariners making a small surge, 2.5 behind the Astros. Take here. I mean, you know my take. I've been against the Mariners for a while. I just don't see them getting over the hump. I think the Astros will close this out, no problem.
No, I agree. I think the Astros are just the more talented team. I think that they're going to close it out. Seattle's within 2.5. I don't buy it. At least not in full. They're both 4-6 in their last 10. Seattle's won a couple. That means it was tough before that. I think Houston always finds a way to get it done.
I think the crazy stat here is the run differential. Houston's actually third. The Rangers have the biggest run differential. It's not even close. And then it's actually the Mariners. So
yeah, and the Rangers are playing the best ball as of late.
Right.
So it'd be interesting. I mean, I think those 4 games are going to be too much to overcome. I think they've got 18 games left, 20 games left.
Yep.
In that range. So yeah, it's going to be close. But I think Houston pulls it off.
With the Jays sliding back 2 in a row, they lost to the Yankees. This is starting to pile up a little bit here in the East. You got the Jays 2 clear of the Yanks, the Red Sox sitting 3.5 back. Do you still think the Jays close this out, or you think they do what the Jays do and somehow wind up not winning this division after all of this?
I think that the Yankees are probably going to win the division now based on schedule. Look, the Yankees have Detroit, obviously tough match. And they've got a 3-game set against the Sox. But they've got the Twins, they've got the Orioles twice, they've got the White Sox, just based on strength of the schedule, and they're only 2 games back. Now, I haven't actually looked at the Blue Jays schedule, but I don't think I need to. Like, I think the Yankees will just take care of business. And now, if the Sox take all 3 of those games, I think the Sox win the division. But I think the Yankees are just getting really lucky with the schedule at the end of the year. There's some wild stat of that they've won like 32 out of the last 37 games or something. The number's wrong, but it's not far off against the Twins. Like when the Twins are good, they can't beat the Yankees, and they're not good right now. They traded everybody away, so those are all wins. The White Sox are wins. They should beat the Orioles. So it's just really lining up for them to take it.
It is. The Yankees seem to have the best schedule coming in. The Red Sox seem to have the most difficult coming in. But the thing with the Red Sox is they seem this year to have played their best baseball against the best teams. So that's the one thing that's encouraging for the Red Sox is they've played really well against the good teams. Yeah, I think someone's going to catch the Jays here. And then in the West, the National League, the only one that's really in play here is the West. But to your point you just made about the Yankees, it seems like the Dodgers, the Giants were playing good. They've lost 2 in a row now. I think the Dodgers have 6 or 7 games left with the Giants. Then they have the Phillies, but the Phillies have pretty much wrapped up what they need to wrap up. So I don't know if maybe the Dodgers here have the easier schedule. I'm checking the Padres right now because I want to.
Yeah, I'm check it too.
The Padres have Cincy, who's still in it, still alive. 4 against Colorado, but so does the Dodgers. You know what? Then they get Milwaukee, but maybe Milwaukee, like Philly, has it wrapped up, and then they get Arizona. You know what? This is very, very competitive. Those 3 games against your boys in New York could be a very, very big series for both teams, obviously, the Mets and the Padres.
No, it for sure could. It's wild. The Mets still have a 93% chance of making the playoffs and owning that wild card position. So I certainly hope they do. They went 1-2 against Cincinnati, which is disappointing because they were playing better against tough competition and kind of dropping down when they were the likes of the Marlins. But it looks like they're still going to get in, and right, they're only 2 games behind San Diego for number 2. So there's really, like we said, 4 teams in it. And then, the Diamondbacks and St. Louis are right there too, though I don't give them any actual shot.
Yeah, I don't either. I think we've said it a few times. I think the Mets will probably lock this up. The only thing is you just have flashbacks of years where the Mets look like, oh, we're going to the playoffs, and then they lose 8 of 10, and it's like, we're not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, no, we thought we were, but we're not.
Yeah. So, the Giants and Reds have cooled off, so that's the good news here. But we said it last episode, the Mets pitching really concerns me.
Well, they've got a game starting in a few minutes here. I'm going to try to catch a little bit of it in the background before Monday Night Football kicks off. They've got McClain going. He's 4-0. They're playing Philly. It's a tough game. The line, I believe, is -125. It might be worth throwing a couple of bucks on because this kid's been hot since he got into the league. So I know this won't air in time for that, but we may have a unit on the Mets.
Yeah, we'll try to put that up on X for anyone to find it last minute here. All right. What about the American League? I still think Texas or the Royals are going to jump the Mariners. I think the Yankees are solidly in, the Red Sox are solidly in. I don't think they'll slide out of those spots. But I don't know. I have this sneaky feeling that the Rangers are going to hop over the Mariners, and maybe if it's not the Rangers, it's going to be the Royals. I don't know. It's just a gut feeling I have.
It could be. The Rangers have been playing good ball lately. Cleveland's won 3 in a row. I would love if Cleveland somehow snuck in there because they're right there too. And I kind of gave up on them a couple months back. I haven't even talked about them. I'm only talking about the Mets. I still, in a world that doesn't exist, would love it if Tampa Bay somehow moved into that spot and we had to figure out where they were going to play playoff baseball. That would be my top story. And I would love it if they played where they've played all year in the Yankees practice field down there in Tampa.
It would be fun, but unfortunately for them, I don't see that happening. The thing that's weird with them is, they have a losing rate. They're 71-72, but they have a run differential of +55. That's just some bad luck right there.
Yeah.
And then you got your Guardians who have a -48 run differential, and they're only 2.5 out.
Yeah, the Guardians have had a lot of pitchers gambling on things that don't get to play baseball anymore.
I don't think we're going to be seeing the Guardians in the postseason this year. I don't see it happening.
Yep.
All right, well, we're through our second full slate of college football. My big takeaways here, I wrote them down, is, I think we saw the ACC might just be a bad conference. It might just be Clemson, Miami, down a tier to SMU, and then just a bunch of hot garbage. Because Duke, who we thought might have been a fishy line, just got absolutely taken behind the woodshed by a second tier Big Ten team in Illinois, who's ranked 11th, but let's be honest, they're probably in that second tier of powerhouses coming out of the Big Ten, right?
Yeah, I would say.
So I don't know your take there. I think maybe the ACC, just not a great conference.
Yeah, you're probably right. People are really high on. We've talked about this. They're really high on Illinois. They could be good. I don't know. I would say they're at least second tier. And yeah, they really took it to Duke. I'll tell you, I'm done betting bad ACC teams for the year. I think we learned our lesson with Duke and North Carolina. The other teams didn't play anybody. I mean, that's only part of the problem, right? Like Miami didn't play anybody, Clemson didn't play anybody. They were expected to win those games. The teams basically played other bad teams, with the exception of Boston College. Well, Michigan State's a bad team, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of the headline is Miami, Clemson, everyone else.
Right. I agree. Look, we had an okay weekend, depending on how you followed us and how you played it. We nailed the Baylor game. We nailed James Madison. We got Ohio home. Iowa State, it depends when you played it, because it did click down to 2.5 at one point. A lot of people probably pushed at 3. If you bet it early and gave 3.5, well, sorry, feel bad for you. Mississippi State, we nailed, and we said they might upset. So we nailed that. And we nailed Vandy. We gave Vandy, just came out in the second half and smoked them. So we had some good, and then we had a couple bads. Kansas just this team. I can't. I tried, Jimmy. I just can't.
I'm done with Kansas.
Like, you get up 21-6, you need to win the game on the road, and they just completely fall apart. And God, you can't even cover 6.5 after getting up 21-6. What are we doing?
Right. Yeah, we're done with Kansas. I mean, I'm not losing any more money on Kansas. I'm over betting Kansas in basketball. I'm over betting Kansas in football. We're done.
It just seems like no matter what we do, they do the opposite.
Yeah.
We're like, you know what? They suck. We're betting against them. They win. We're like, all right, maybe they're good. Let's bet them. And again, you get up 21-6, and you can't close it out. You can't cover the spread. Just, oh my God, it was just painful to watch.
Yeah, happy for Missouri fans. Happy for Missouri Dan. Good 2-0. Maybe they'll hit that 7 or 8 win total that we thought they might be able to get to. But Kansas get beat.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, the other one we said we should have been on it big. We talked about it and we kind of let it go. We said the Gators could get a game out of South Florida after what we saw them do to Boise. Yep. Not only did they get a game, they beat them. And now South Florida, back-to-back top 25 wins. We'll get to South Florida in a second. But as much as it pains me to say, because I like the guy, I think it's time for Billy to maybe be relieved of his duties at Florida.
Yeah, and it is a murderer's row for Florida. They've got one of the toughest schedules out there. They've got LSU. They go to LSU. Then they go to Miami. Then they're back home for Texas, who theoretically will continue to work out the kinks. And then they're at A&M. Then they've got Mississippi State, who we just talked about in the upset. And then they've got Georgia. Like, they could lose all those games.
It could get ugly quick in the slump this year, and you just can't let a South Florida come in and beat you like that. You just can't, not with the schedule you have. And they'll win a couple of those games that they probably on paper are going to be underdogs in, but my God.
They could, but they end the year with Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State. Florida State looked like it should be an easy game. They're number 10 now in the country, right?
I know.
This is, I don't remember, and I'm sure there's one in the SEC that's worse, but I don't remember a schedule that was this daunting.
I think there's a lot of them now just because of how deep these leagues are.
Yeah.
And you're going to play, 9 games against pretty good teams. That's, so that's why we're going to see 3 lost teams in the college playoff every year.
Yeah. Which is probably good. I think it's probably good for the sport.
Absolutely. But this could be a 6-loss team at this point.
Oh, I would, I wonder what the odd, let me see if I can find that odd while we continue the conversation. I'll look it up here on DraftKings.
Yeah. My reverse to this is South Florida's getting like 16.5 at Miami. I mean, geez, is that just like, ooh, all right, maybe we got to play Miami because this looks too good to be true? Or do you just ride the Bulls again?
I mean, I would probably ride the Bulls. Why wouldn't we? They're 2-0. You're going to give me basically 3 scores?
Because they're giving us 3 scores and we don't know why. That's why I would say,
yeah.
What do they know? What are they seeing in the matchup that we're not?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, that's a good point. And I think Miami's going to win the game. To be clear, I think Miami's our pick to win the ACC. I picked them to be one of the Final 4 teams, and I've seen nothing yet that tells me I shouldn't feel that way. So
No, you're right. I like Miami to win the game too. I just they must see something in that matchup that we're not seeing, because when I saw 16.5, I had to check it 3 times because I thought it was going to be more like 9.5.
yeah, no, you're not wrong.
All right, we got crushed on Michigan, unfortunately. I think you put it very well a couple shows ago where you said they're probably a year early, and that's basically what they looked like on Saturday night. We're just, maybe it's a year too soon, because as much as you loved them, your boy did not look good at quarterback against Oklahoma.
No, growing pains. What's his name? I don't know. I always forget the coach's name because that's what we do on the show. We either mispronounce it or can't remember it. But Oklahoma defensive coach, great record. If anybody watched the pregame college kickoff, like, he's got an awesome record against freshman quarterback. You know, Bryce Underwood, I've said it 100 times. I'll say it again. 3 weeks ago, he was 17, right? So,
Sure.
you know, he goes into Norman. He plays in a packed stadium. It was interesting because they were talking on the broadcast, because it's not a huge rivalry, that the Michigan fans and Oklahoma fans had a good time together. They were, it was like a really peaceful kind of environment where they were happy to have him in town. But yeah, probably a year early, but I'm excited to watch the kid continue to grow through the year. And if he looks 20% better at the end of this year than he does now, because he still looks pretty good. He's used to the big, the big scene. We're going to be tough next year.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I think the one thing I was disappointed in was the offense had no creativity. Like, they play called like they were playing New Mexico at home again. And I get it. Like, you're trying to protect him. He's a young quarterback, trying to make easier reads for him, but you're playing Oklahoma on the road. You're going to have to take a few shots. You're going to have to come up with a play or two that is off script. And I felt like we just didn't. I felt like it was a lot of off-tackle runs, a lot of roll them out, but no one was really open. And we didn't pass protect that well, Jimmy.
No, we didn't. Defense looked good. I mean, I think Wink Martindale is doing a really nice job with defense, and I
Defense kept us in the game.
Yeah. So I was really happy with that, but it never felt. I mean, I guess 24-13 is kind of what it felt like. It wasn't a blowout, but it never felt like Michigan was really gonna take over. But I still feel really good about the future. Like I said, I think it's a year early. I would be worried if I was Oklahoma too, because Mateer just ran the ball constantly, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, he was taking shots. So I don't know that makes me feel worse about Michigan. Like, I'm not quite sure how good Oklahoma is, but they could do that the second game of the year, right? So I, for what it's worth, it's not going to work later in the year. At least I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to take that kind of beating and carry that kind of load through a full college football season.
Yeah, and then we were way off. Our apologies on the under in Michigan State, BC. I mean, it went over. I mean, it didn't go way over, but there was no way it was staying under after the first half. There was no way we were getting that home. So that was a terrible call. But I got to tell you, the line of the weekend that I loved, and like, I know I've been critical of Deion before on these podcasts, was him stating, I have a plan. I had a plan, when his third string quarterback got in there and just lit everybody up. So, Deion, are you really trying to sell us that you knew he was great and you kept him on the bench? Like, you wanted him third string? Like, do you buy into that? Like, he has a plan for this kid?
Not completely, but they were playing Delaware. I mean, how much stock are we?
They were.
Yeah.
And that's the most concerning thing. Like, the first two string guys couldn't get it going against Delaware.
Yeah. That's not great. Maybe they had something. The only thing it could be is, like, thought he had the talent but wasn't quite ready, and then just kind of got stuck into thrusting him in. Like, we'll talk about that when we talk NFL. I think that could happen to a couple of young guys, one very in particular locally here, sooner than later.
My comment back is, sure you do.
Yeah.
Sure you do. I have one. I have a plan too.
Yeah, we all have a plan.
Yeah. To get punched in the face. All right.
Right.
And you know what? Before we get to NFL, I'm gonna go off script here for a sec. I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah,
we always usually go one topic off sports. So here's mine for today. My wife basically says I'm a jerk because I never put the cart back in the little cart thing at the grocery store. Am I a jerk?
Is there a cart thing?
Yeah, always.
Well, then you're kind of a jerk. Yeah.
All right. So you are a jerk if you don't put the cart back.
Yeah. So here's the problem with my grocery store. There's no cart thing, and it's a big ass parking lot. So nobody puts them back because it's a huge parking lot, and they didn't put a cart thing in. There's plenty of opportunities. You just take one space and make it a cart thing. ShopRite. They're like, no. We want you to put it in the median. We'd like you to roll it up into the dirt. We want to make this as difficult as fucking possible on everybody. So that's ShopRite's fault. So at ShopRite, if the weather's nice, I take the time and walk it all the way back to the front of the grocery store, and then I walk my ass all the way back to my car. But if the weather's shitty, or I've got one of my children with me that's already in the car and I can't leave them there, then yeah, you're getting the fucking cart in the dirt. Let's put a cart thing in. But you have a cart thing and you refuse to use it.
Oh, several.
That is a new level of lazy. And so
right. I'm going to defend my work.
Okay.
Now, normally there's 2 guys out there working hard collecting all the carts. If we all put the carts back, they're going to drop it to 1 guy. Huh. I'm saving a job.
Yeah. You're like union leadership. You're
I am helping the economy.
Yeah. Well, they still have to go get it from the thing. But it's fine.
Yeah, but
I have a question. Here's my bitch about a grocery store. Why sometimes can I get the awesome small cart that's very maneuverable and you can fly around when you go, and then other times I don't see anybody with a grocery store in them, but they're nowhere to be found. They just disappeared from the face of the earth for this particular day, and you got to get a big ass cart, even though you only need a gallon of milk and some celery.
Love the small cart.
Oh, it's the best. So maneuverable.
Last grocery shop take. My favorite thing is when I'm walking in the parking lot and I'm literally 30 yards from the car that's backing up and they aggressively slam on the brake like they're about to hit me.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite people.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic.
Ma'am, I am 40 yards from you.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. All right. Enough of that. NFL, let's get to it. It's what everyone wants to hear about anyways. We'll start just kind of in order here. I think the Cowboys just showed right off the rip. They are just a different team with Dax there on offense. I mean, the defense struggled. We thought they might, but they are just such a different offense when this guy's running it.
Absolutely. They should have won that game. I mean, CD doesn't drop those passes. It was unbelievable. And they got extremely lucky with Jalen Carter getting thrown out of the game. They weren't
Very true.
They weren't getting any pressure on Dak, or not a lot. They would have got a lot more had Jalen Carter been playing. But yeah, if CD doesn't drop those, and to his credit, he took full accountability for it. He was really cool. He owned it. But that was a tough
game.
Dallas should have won that game.
Yeah,
they should have absolutely won that game. Yeah, I mean, we bet it. We posted it. We covered the 8.5 with no problem. And again, if I'm a Cowboys fan or I'm a Cowboys player, like, what an opportunity missed. The good news is that CeeDee Lamb was able to get open often, and it stands to reason that with what's his name on the other side now, Pickens on the other side, it's going to continue to happen. So I see no reason Dallas shouldn't be way more competitive than people are expecting him to be.
Yep, and then I thought the Chargers looked pretty good for week 1. I really did. I think maybe we're onto something. I know, look, we can't have the week 1 overreactions that people do. This is Overreaction Monday every year.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying not to, but based on what I saw, maybe we're onto something here where we kind of went back and forth on Denver or the Chargers, who's the best bet. We both flipped around a couple times. Both kind of came back to the Chargers. I think the Chargers looked the part, even with some injuries. And, you know, I was posting our draft stuff because Herbert's on my fantasy team.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught some stuff like, why would you take Herbert? You could have waited and got someone who's better. Herbert's this, Herbert's that. Yeah, I just want to say to all those people, because some of them listen, and there were more than one. Yeah, I'm real sad Herbert's on my team. 25 for 34, 318, 3 tutties. Oh, man, what a bum.
The only reason you'd be worried about him is if Harbaugh didn't let him loose. But Harbaugh, they talked about it during the broadcast, and he had said it before that he woke up and thought, I got to get this kid to the Hall of Fame. Basically, I got to take the reins off. I got to let him do his thing. Here's my only concern. I am sticking with my pick of the Chargers to win the West, okay? I'm not backing down from it. But if I were to be concerned, and I have a small concern, is that Denver was able to run the ball a lot better. Now, theoretically, Omarion Hampton's going to get better as the year goes on, but they didn't run the ball extremely effectively. He averaged 3 yards a carry. Herbert was their best runner. They were under 100 yards on the ground. So they're going to have to figure out some semblance of a run game because they still are, run the ball, play good defense. Herbert looked great. The only thing that makes me nervous about Herbert, he always does seem to get nicked up when he gets hit. He's not huge. He's a big human, like he's tall and he's in great shape, but he takes too many licks. He's got to get down. Remember the one year he hurt his finger slide? I mean, it was like right from the jump. So he's always got something going on. But if they're firing on all cylinders and they're locked in like they were, They're going to be very, very good. And I got some shit for my old guy drafts, but Keenan Allen, all he did on my bench, because you start your starters, but was put up 20 points on my fantasy team because they're good. And they've got Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, right? They've got Johnson played well. Yeah. They've got
Allen opens up the field now for Ladd too.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. And Allen can catch any. He can catch it. He can play outside, inside. It doesn't matter. So, to your point, he gets hurt that as well. He's another guy that always has an injury, but they seem to have something going there. And yeah, I would feel pretty good if I was a Chargers fan, and I feel pretty good about my pick of them winning in the division. Again, overreaction Monday. They're 1-0,
exactly. It's an overreaction. It is always, but Disley too, the tight end, he's sneaky good as well.
Yeah, they've got Disley and they've got Tyler Conklin, I think, who's the more talented of the two. But they've got a pair of tight ends. They've got Najee Harris as the backup running back. If I'm not a big believer in Najee Harris. Like I said, I thought he'd eventually take off, and he just was always kind of average. He got basically no work that game, though. It was all Amarian Hampton. So Amarian Hampton showed signs that this guy could be the real deal. And Kansas City has decent run defense, but the bigger deal is they slayed the dragon. Now, I think that Kansas City is still going to be extremely formidable. I'm not writing them off just because they lost one game. I think
they have no receivers.
They don't. And they're going to get some back, right? Worthy went out early in the game. Rashee Rice is suspended. He'll come back. They had Hollywood Brown basically going off, catching everything that came his way. But after that, like Juju Smith-Schuster, he had a couple good years in Pittsburgh, but he looks slow now. I mean, they don't really have a lot to work with. Kelsey is still great, but he's not going to carry the team. I think when we're at the end of the year, Kansas City's going to be in right there to potentially win the division. They're definitely going to get a wild card. They're going to figure it out. But if you're the Chargers, you finally did it, right? You beat the Chiefs. Herbert, I think Herbert was 1-5 against Patrick Mahomes or something like that.
Yeah, it was all close games. It was crazy.
You kicked off the season. You finally got it done. You're going into week 2 in much better shape, and yeah, you should. If I'm them, I feel really good about it.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, Falcons. It's just going to be another year, but it's going to be another year of pain, Falcons fans. You should have won that game. You really should have, and you wasted a great game from Bijan. I mean, the guy went 6 for 100 receiving, forget running, and a touchdown.
Yep.
And you just got baked. Baker just did just enough. He didn't throw any INTs. He went 17 for 32, 167, but 3 touchdowns, and Baker did what Baker does. And you got to give credit to the run defense, right, of Tampa. I mean, the Falcons rushed for 69 yards total.
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean,
Algier and Robinson, though, Jimmy, were held to 48 yards. Those are 2 good backs.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And Algier got almost as much work as Robinson got. When they get what's his name back from injury, and he should theoretically be in good shape, right? He's been out since mid last year, and again, another situation where I'm not remembering names. But when Godwin's back, Godwin, Evans, and the way Egbuka looked, like that is 3 of the top receiving core.
Do we talk about Ohio State players on the show?
That's a good point. But D'Anthony looked good.
You're right.
Yeah, right. So I mean, what a receiving core. Cade Otton did nothing, and he had a really good year last year at tight end. He's nothing to see that either. And I love Tez Johnson. I know he didn't get in the game, but I think Tez Johnson's going to have a career in the NFL. They're just loaded. Baker's going to continue to throw the ball all over the place. Hopefully the run defense holds up. I mean, Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded coach. But if they can, is this the year that Tampa finally just runs away with the division and is not, 9-7 going into the last week, needing to get to 10 to win it? Are they going to finally win 12 games and just have it in the pocket?
Maybe they could. They're that good. But I will say this. I do think the Falcons have enough talent to be hanging around weeks 15, 16, 17, possibly sitting there looking for a wild card.
Yeah, and I mean, as we fantasy talk into this, Kyle Pitts is available in almost every league out there, and he got 8 targets last game. So maybe they're finally, with Penix in there, figuring out how to use him a little bit. He had 13 points. He didn't get in the end zone, They had a lot of targets, caught 6 balls. If you're struggling at tight end, there's only a few elite ones out there. It's not a bad somebody to take a flyer on, cut somebody that you weren't planning on playing anyway, throw them on the bench, see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good call. All right. I'm going to let you take your victory lap in a second. I said there was no chance in hell on this show the Bengals were going to lose week 1 again, which they didn't. Luckily, I did not have a big bet on them with the spread. I put them in a lot of teasers like probably America did, but I sweated it out. And Jimmy, to his credit, told us the easy path to take in this game, and that was take the Browns with the points because they always play the Bengals stuff and usually beat them. That's what he told us. Go ahead, take your victory lap.
I can't because they lost the game they should have won. Like they lost the game they should have won. The kicker cost us the game, and that is absolutely painful to say. We held the Bengals to 141 yards. This is why it drives me nuts. When I know the Browns are just a shitty team, which is most of the time, I can accept the loss. But their defense, I talked about, is good. They're good at every level. They eventually become demoralized when they play that well and you can't get them a game. So that's what I'm worried about. It's not getting any easier. They're going to Baltimore next week. That's a way more difficult game on the road in Baltimore versus at home against Cincinnati. So that's why I'm disappointed. We did what we had to do. We held everybody in check. Chase Brown on my fantasy team, so I followed it. Averaged 2 yards a carry. Joe Burrow, 113 yards through the air. I mean, you couldn't. If I would have told you that before the game, you would have said Cleveland won.
Right? I would have put I would have put my house on Cleveland.
Right, exactly. So the defense played great, and we just came up short. Flacco threw 2 interceptions. They weren't his fault. The Tillman grabs the ball, says, "I don't like this. I'm going to throw it in the air."
Yeah, I saw.
DB behind him catches it, and they say, "Game over."
Yep.
Right? And when we had a chance to go down the field and win it, kicker says, "Hey, I'm the 17th kicker for Cleveland. For some reason, you can't find one of me either." That's the story. Cleveland fucking everybody, the quarterback, they can't find a kicker. We never have a goddamn kicker. Find somebody to kick the ball through the uprights. Get the kid from Hawaii that learned it on YouTube next year in the draft, for God's sake. So that's why I'm frustrated. But yes, they've looked way better than even I thought they were going to look. The defense is solid. And then what you have to question for your Bengals, here's my question. Was it great Browns defense, or should we be worried about the Bengals offense?
That's an overreaction Monday yet again. No. If you have Brown, Burrow, Chase, Higgins on your fantasy team, don't go looking to trade this week. They're going to be just fine. Trust me. This team is still going to put up huge numbers on the season. Joe Burrow, don't forget, he started slow last year. They lost a ton early, and Joe Burrow couldn't get it going because the big rap was, hey, they didn't play in the preseason, they're rusty, they're this, they're that. He didn't have huge games in September last year. The pummeling for his numbers started in October and just continued through December, where he was putting up historic numbers the back half of the year. So I wouldn't panic at all at this point. Obviously, it's a 1 game. They have a home game coming up. Look for them to score north of 28 next week. Maybe they'll be in the 30s. This team's going to put up huge numbers still. I'm not worried at all. How about the Colts, though, Jimmy? I called that. I told you they were going to pound on Miami this week. Miami is not a great football team, and the Colts are not that bad. And what did I tell you? I took shit for this on this show with comments. Danny Dimes, if you put him in maybe a situation where it's not the Giants, he might be okay. Look pretty damn good.
Yeah, Danny Dimes, another guy I think he's only owned in 5% of leagues. So if you have quarterback play that's questionable, if you have a late round quarterback and you've got somebody just taking up the 7th spot on your bench that you're never going to actually play, his big question is durability, but they're clearly going to use him to run. They ran him 7 times. He scored 2 touchdowns on the ground. And Greg absolutely nailed this. You could take your victory lap because this is his big play. This is the one that he said. I was like, I don't know. Miami sometimes comes out hot. Like they just come out and they score 100 points. He was spot on this. And, I mean, it really clears the way for this was clearly the right choice over Anthony Richardson at this point for this team, right? So they must have saw something more than we saw in the preseason games. And Daniel Jones had he had some good moments in New York. He was just hurt and, maybe the play calls weren't right for him. So hopefully his neck holds up. And like I said, he's available. And if somebody might need somebody to start or somebody to jumpstart your team, he's available out there almost everywhere.
And Jimmy snagged me in our draft because we're in the same fantasy league. I had Pittman circled because I figure Pittman is going to have a good year again because someone's actually going to throw him the ball again. Jimmy got him, and 6 for 80 and a tutty. A good way to start the season for Mr. Pittman.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? We got a B- grade on our draft because of Pittman. It was thing. You really reached for Pittman. That was the whole grade, was hammering us on Pittman.
As you know, and I'm not trying to pound on you, I got an A+, but you know what the one thing they yelled at me for?
What's that?
Herbert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They said, you reached for Herbert. You could have got him 3 rounds later.
Yeah.
I wanted to write back, well, not in this league because they draft quarterbacks like they're gold. Like Danny Dimes probably went in the 4th round for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous in this league. All right, here we go. And again, we had a good week with a lot of our picks. This was another one Jimmy was pretty adamant about on our Thursday night show. Good call with the Raiders, my friend. I kind of told you I was passing on this game. You nailed it. You said they were going to go in there and get them.
Yeah, I mean, I really believe in the Raiders. Pete Carroll is the oldest coach to ever coach a game at this point, but he seems spry. Like I said, he's got a relationship with Geno Smith. Something that you pointed out that I didn't even fully buy into, but you were absolutely right, is that Jacoby Myers is better than advertised. He had almost 100 yards. Brock Bowers is great. Genty didn't have a good game, but they went in there and they got the win. I think it's a combination of people overlooking him, but when I just say all these names, you're like, well, Pete Carroll's married with Geno Smith. Aston Genty is by far the best running back to come out of the draft, and he's young. They've got the best tight end in the NFL. They've got a decent receiving core. They've got Max Crosby on the line. When you say all that, you're like, yeah, they should be. Like, yeah, what are we thinking? They should be pretty good. And the opposite is happening with the Patriots. Is everybody is falling in love with the Patriots? Their second-year quarterback. They got Vrabel back, and Vrabel's a great coach. Don't get me wrong, but like the thought that all of a sudden the Patriots are just going to snap their fingers and be back on the top of the mountain. I think they miss the playoffs and they probably go 8-9. I think they'll be a solid team that next year will be there, but I think it's still a year early. So I think they were overvaluing the Patriots. So yeah, I like it. Raiders got to win. I still picking them as my surprise wildcard team in the AFC.
Yep, I'm with you. It was a good bet. Cards by the Saints by a touchdown. I thought they might win this one bigger. It's on the road, first game of the year. I think they did enough for you to walk away saying, all right, you know what? Cards could be pretty good this year like we thought. But what I was happy to see was the Terminator just doesn't age. He gets in the end zone for a tutty. So well done, James Conner. And then the backup. I know he busted one for 50, but for people who had to use Benson yesterday, you got away with it because he broke one for 50 for you. So it wasn't like you put up a donut. You got some points.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I think, and people were talking this morning about watch out for Arizona, which we sort of talked about as well, but I mean, the Saints aren't quite as bad as maybe we thought they were going to be. Chris Olave had a nice game. Rashid Shaheed had a decent game. Juwan Johnson showed up. Kamara didn't have a great game, but he played.
But he always scored.
Rattler didn't lose the game for him like we thought might happen. He didn't have a great game, but maybe the Saints aren't as terrible as one would have thought.
The jury's
still
out
bad, but they didn't get they didn't get housed.
They didn't get pummeled, but it's week 1. Look, the Saints always have usually a defense that can keep them hanging around in a lot of games, but I don't think they're going to have an offense that can score much more than 20 points week in and week out, and that's going to be their downfall.
No, you're probably right. I mean, the big question with the Saints is when does Shuck get in, right? When do they drafted him in the second round. They think you don't waste a second round pick on somebody you don't think is going to start for your team. So when do they pull Spencer Rattler and put Tyler Shuck in? I would think potentially sooner than later. But like I said, they have a lot of talent around them, so it'll be interesting to see.
Sooner than later. All right. My God, I watched this with my cousin who's a diehard Jets fan, and Joey called it. He called it. I was like, they're winning this game. They're winning this. He's like, no, they're going to find a way to lose, Greg. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made the huge stop on 2nd and 3rd down on that final Steelers drive, and out comes the kicker. And I'm like, all right, Joey, they're lining up for 60.
Yeah.
He's like, it's going to be good. I was like, it's a MetLife
outside.
Just absolutely drilled it.
It was good from like 10. It would have been good from 70.
That's what we were saying. I couldn't believe it. It was literally like the football gods were like, oh, it's the Jets. Good from 90.
Yeah, right. Just wherever. Put in a t-shirt cannon and fire it down the field.
It's incredible. And how much of that game did you see? Just because I know you were probably watching the Browns, but if you didn't see it, Aaron Rodgers was moving the ball pretty well, but so was Justin Fields. The Jets looked like they had an offense.
Yeah, they scored 66 points in this game. I saw most. So I had a barbecue, which you were supposed to come to, but we rescheduled because you had a long weekend. We had a barbecue, and it rained in our area for anybody that's not from the Northeast, and it wasn't supposed to, and it rained up until noon. So all my prep had to get shotgun taken care of. So I was cooking from 1 to 2:30 and catching the games as I could whenever the Browns I'd run over. But after that, we had Red Zone on, and on one TV we had the Giants on another, and we flipped back to the Jets on the third. So I actually got to watch a decent amount of it. Rodgers looked great. He's another one that's available in fantasy. He's not going to get you any points on the ground, but I mean, if he has an Aaron Rodgers 40 touchdown pass season and he started it off pretty well, he looked awesome. He was jumping and throwing the ball. He was throwing fade routes. I mean, he looked really, really good, and he's available in almost every league as well. So you've got some options there. But yeah, man, the Jets look good. Like, they were moving the ball well. Justin Field looked like somebody that the same thing like we talked about with Danny Dimes. Like, if somebody actually invests time in him and lets him get and lets him cook for a little while in one system, he could be good. They ran the ball really well. Reese Hall looked great. If you're the Steelers, you're concerned about the fact that the Jets put up 32 on you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this guy Boswell has been a kicker for, it seems like literally 50 years at Pittsburgh. But does this guy ever miss? I mean, I never can remember him missing like a big kick. I don't know why, but I was saying that yesterday when he hit the 60-yarder. I was like, I can't remember last time this guy missed like a big kick.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's the opposite of Cleveland, and that's why I hate the Steelers. Did you see
I don't blame
the Jalen Ramsey hit at the end of the game?
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Popped the ball right out. Yeah, that was good.
It was terrible clock management by the Jets anyways. They were calling bad plays. You got one timeout and you had a minute. You should have been able to get yourself in field goal range.
Yep.
All right, all right, there's hope for the Jets, but they're still the Jets. That's what we learned yesterday. I got no real big take on the Commanders-Giants game. It was kind of just unwatchable. The Commanders didn't look that great. They looked a little rusty. The Giants looked like we thought they would be. They're basically East Rutherford High. Good luck, Giants. I think we nailed you. You might get 3 wins this year.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson's done.
Put Jackson Dart in.
Yeah,
just let him learn this year.
There's the 2 takeaways. 1, Russell Wilson is done, and 2, Malik Neighbors is already aggravated and it's game 1, right? So so those are the 2 big headlines. I didn't really learn anything about Washington because they played well, but it wasn't like it was completely dominant. They just played well. The Giants. Russell Wilson's career's done. 17 of 37 for 168, 4.5-yard average, 25.
There'll be no more cooking, Jimmy.
There's no cooking.
Russ will not be cooking.
There is no Mr. Worldwide will not be, or whatever the fuck they call him.
Yeah, Russ is going to a drive-through window.
Yeah, Russ, let's hang it up, bud. He's done. But you're right. Throw Jackson Dart in. We'll get him going. What difference does it make when you wait till?
Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing. If you put Jackson Dart in, Malik Neighbors is going to get 15 targets a game.
If you don't want to put Jackson Dart in because you want him to sit for a little longer, put Jameis Winston in, who will at least flip the ball downfield. You're going to get a couple picks, and he's going to piss you off. Yeah, a lot. You're going to get a lot of picks.
He's going to throw over 400 yards, but he's going to throw 6 picks.
Yeah, but he's going to keep people happy because he's going to be flinging the ball to Neighbors and Wandale.
The one thing Winston will do is he's going to score you points.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll make the game exciting for you.
He sure will.
Yeah, so if you don't want to go that, but let's just call it a day on Russ. And they were talking about it this way. He's only got a $10 million contract, single-year deal. You're not married to him. You don't have to make this thing work out. It's not a Deshaun Watson situation where no matter how bad it is, we're trying to convince ourselves that it could work out because we're married to the guy with all the money we paid him. Like, you can tell Russ to sit down and move on at any point. So
the other one I felt real good about is I nailed the Jags game. I knew that was going to happen yesterday. Big delay during it, which took away some of the steam, but the Jags came right back out after that break and just kind of put this game away, put this game to bed early, 26-10. Trevor Lawrence didn't have a huge game, but you know what did? It was nice to see Etienne turn back the clock here because he had a terrible year last year, but he went 16 for 143 yesterday.
Crushed it.
He looked good.
Yeah.
But I think, like we said, I think the Jags might be the team to give the Texans problems, and look, don't sleep on the Colts. The Colts find a way usually to get around that 500 mark, and if a couple balls bounce their way, they might have a shot at this.
You're not wrong. This should be a competitive division. It should be like Jacksonville with the people they drafted and the hype that they came with, right? Trevor Lawrence, great. Etienne, he was out his rookie year. He was hurt the whole year, I believe, and then he came back the second year, and he's played well since. Like you said, he had a great game yesterday. Fun fact: his brother Trevor Etienne plays for the Panther hasn't had one carry. Not so good of
Yeah,
a day. I think one brother won that game.
but he'll get worked in as he gets more experience.
Yeah. But yeah, look, they should be good. Houston didn't have a great start, and to your point, the Colts have a talented team. If they can have some consistency behind center, then they'll be all right.
We'll get to the Houston game in a minute. I don't really have much to say on the Broncos game. Look, I think it was the Survivor curse. We had to sweat it out because that's what happens with the big favorite week 1 in Survivor. So Broncos moved on. They'll get better. I'm not really concerned about them. Titans, it was a valiant effort for 50 minutes, but I really have no take there. The Niners Seahawks game was another one that was just a little bit unwatchable. The Niners are just riddled with injuries. Kittle scores and then his hamstring hurts, so he doesn't play. Brock Purdy threw the ball to, it seemed like no one, and somehow it landed in the hands of the backup tight end to win the game. So, I mean, they got away with one in Seattle, but I don't think at this point, I wouldn't trust either of these teams.
No, I don't. Sam Darnold didn't exactly have a stellar performance, although it wasn't terrible. It was just it was pedestrian, but he didn't lose him the game. He didn't turn the ball over.
I'll say it. I was dead wrong, everyone, on the Lions game. I was dead wrong. Lions did not look good yesterday. Green Bay looked like the better team on both sides of the ball. Lions, I think, will go clean it up, and they'll have a big game this week against the Bears. We'll talk about the Packers game on the show. They got Washington on a short week coming in to Lambeau. It was a disappointing day for the Lions. Like I said, I think they'll clean it up, but not the way you want to start in what's probably going to be a competitive division.
Yeah, did Ben Johnson make that much of a difference is going to be the big question. Like, is this that you lose both coordinators? Look, their defense wasn't what got them the last year. I wasn't really worried about Aaron Glenn. I know it was because of injury. But if Ben was really that big of a deal and the new system's not producing, I mean, the concerning part is, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery did nothing. They couldn't run the ball, right?
Couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, they couldn't run the ball at all. Hopefully it's a blip on the radar. We both have a soft spot for Detroit, and I would like to see them do well, but they got beat up pretty good.
I'll hear your take in a sec on this one. I'm interested to hear it. The Rams-Texans game was another one that I was like, wow, this is not a great game. The Texans D and the Rams D looked good, I guess you could say, but I got to tell you, I'm getting to the point where CJ Stroud is going to either figure it out, realize he has Nico Collins, and start putting up big numbers like he did his first year, or he's going to be one of the better backups in the league by year 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really accurate quarterback. He has a terrible line. I mean, and he's somewhat mobile in the pocket, but he's not extremely mobile as a quarterback. And that's one of their biggest problems. We knew their defense was going to be pretty good, so it should have been predictable that it was going to be a low-scoring game. We probably should have been on the under there. Obviously, we should have been hindsight, but we should have been able to think that through ahead of time. You've got Stafford, who hasn't really played any football. I don't expect him to come out and light it up out of nowhere. And they both have really good defenses. But yeah, I mean, they've got to figure it out because you're right. They've got way too much talent to be playing this bad. Nico Collins, just throw him the ball, throw it up somewhere. Dalton Schultz, really good tight end. They're going to get Tank Dell back at some point. So Nick Chubb had an okay game. Average 4.5 yards a carry. But yeah, we'll see. To your point, like we talked about 5 minutes ago, Jacksonville and Indy's right there. This isn't the Houston's division to lose anymore, right? They're going to have to go win it. Right. So see what happens.
And then the absolute miracle in Buffalo last night, which was, I mean, me and you are both texting, my God, the Bills don't figure this out on defense. They're not going to win anything this year. They're going to win. We were both saying they're going to win their 12, 13 games because that's just what they do.
Right.
But they're not going to beat a really, really good team with a good quarterback like Lamar. And then we saw, well, thank you, Josh, for saving me, what I was saying Thursday night. Josh Allen is just a better quarterback in big moments. He finds ways to gut it out. And my God, it was exactly what always happens with these two quarterbacks. Lamar found a way to not pick up a first down in the game, and Josh Allen found a way to get the football enough times to win the game. And that is what happens. That is, to me, sums up these two quarterbacks.
Yeah, look, the problem for the Bills is that you can't rely on Josh being Superman as a game plan to win you these games, right? Like you shouldn't be like
Worked for 4 years, but go ahead.
it did, but like at some point, but it hasn't because they end up they've got knocked out in the playoffs. I think that's the big
That's
issue.
true.
Same thing happens to Lamar too, but like your game plan shouldn't be like they're going to score 40, but don't worry, we'll get 41 somehow. Like you've got at some point you got to figure it out. We were texting back and forth. Joey Bosa in live time, he kept not setting the edge, and Lamar was just running around him.
Running around it.
He
Yep.
finally started setting the edge, and they're like, "Well, he's learned, playing Lamar." I'm like, Joey Bosa's been in the league for like 12 years. He should know how to play Lamar Jackson at this point, right? Like you're not as fast as him. Don't let him get outside you. Force him back inside where you have some help. He's gonna burn you every time he gets there. But yeah, I mean, and the Ravens looked awesome. Derrick Henry, shit.
My God.
I don't get it. He's gonna end up. I wrote down. He's gonna end up because they keep showing the list of at the very worst, third in total touchdowns and rushing touchdowns when it's all said and done. If he plays 3 more years, he might catch LaDainian Tomlinson. He'll never catch Emmitt Smith. But he's only like, I think he needs like 15 touchdowns to be third. And as long as he plays next year, right, he's gonna surpass that easily.
He might get it this year.
He might. He looked awesome. So
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he
won you your week 1 fantasy game. The only reason you're winning is this guy.
Yeah, well, and tonight, it's pretty close. He's got Hawkinson, and I've got JJ going. So JJ to JJ needs to pull it through for us. But yeah, of course he is. Yeah, it looks like a great keeper now. But you never know with these old guys what they're going to look like. He looks phenomenal. So yeah, they looked awesome. They looked awesome all game. In Buffalo's defense credit, I mean, the Ravens are clearly a fantastic offense. So it's not like they were giving up these yards to like a cupcake. But I'd want to reel that in because they're going to probably meet again, right?
The fun part here is you could say the same thing about the other side because the Ravens are supposed to have a really, really good defense, and they just got a 41 spot put up on them.
Yeah, I think there's cause for concern for both teams. Dan Orlovsky was the one, and people were making fun of him for it, but I sort of agree with him here. Like, this is as good as it's going to get for Baltimore with the talent they have around Lamar, with the way the structure works. Like, he's got to go get it. I think you could almost say that for Josh, because last year, remember, everybody thought it was going to be a down year for the Bills because they've lost some talent. Well, this year, they're in pretty good shape. Like, they're both under pressure. I will tell you, and this isn't a knock on Josh because I love him, Lamar, he's for sure better than Lamar when it counts and in clutch time. Their biggest issue is Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow are better than both of them in clutch time. And that's both of their problems, right? Like, everybody knows Joe's the only guy that goes and beats Patrick. And he doesn't do it every time, but he at least gives him a game. And Patrick seems to get the Super Bowl every time. So these two keep taking each other out. It's one of them needs to take Patrick Mahomes out or Joe Burrow, and so that they can face each other in the championship game, and one of these two guys can get to a Super Bowl. That's the issue. Of those 4, Lamar's the worst in clutch. I would say Patrick's the best, followed by Joe, and Josh, unfortunately, is in the 3rd spot on that if you're talking about extremely clutch moments in the playoffs, because we've seen 2 of them get to the Super Bowl. We've seen Lamar most of the time exit super early, and Josh gives you hope that the Bills are going to get back there before it doesn't work.
And then the defense lets them down every time.
Yeah.
Josh, unfortunately, has to take it because his team never wins, so you can't put him ahead of the other 2.
Yeah.
But it's never him in the big spot. He always gets his team in the end zone, and then the defense does what the defense does and lets the other team score.
Yeah, I blame play calling last year. They shouldn't have done the 4th and 1 run. They should have let him get to the outside or throw the ball. They should have trusted. Like they did it. They were playing. The Bills played too conservative. We've talked to beat the champ. You've got to knock the champ out. You can't play a conservative game. It's like when you used to fight Bald Bull when you were young, and you couldn't get that punch in when he did the charge.
Yeah,
so you try to just fade it till the round ended and win the decision, but you lost because you didn't have enough points, right? You got to take the shot. Knock Bald Bull out, Josh. Knock him out.
You're right. It's good. It's a good take. But here's the good news: is this was billed as the game of the week, and boy was it! So great that it didn't disappoint. Sunday Night Football. It was a great start. So I thought it was an awesome game. I was very happy that the Bills won. Obviously,
absolutely.
We got away with it because the line shifted for us, and we got the 1.5. If you bet it early in the week or before the season, you gave a 1.5 and you got screwed. We got lucky last night, Jimmy.
We sure did.
All right, Survivor contest update. If you followed us, I'm not going to elaborate, but you moved on if you took any of the teams we threw out, because we threw out Washington, we threw out Jacksonville as a take a shot and hope the favorites go down, and then obviously we told everybody if you want your Denver is going to be the most popular pick if you want to sweat it out, and that's exactly what happened, but they moved on. All right, we'll end with our Thursday night game because we won't record again until the game's going on. So who do you like? Green Bay, Washington, after what you saw yesterday. Lines Green Bay 3.5.
I mean, this is tough. I actually trust Jaden Daniels more than I trust Jordan Love from a consistency perspective, but I trust Micah Parsons more than I trust after the way he looked with basically no practice. It's in Green Bay. They really got this line right. I don't like the hook at all. I would buy it down to 3 and take the Packers.
All right. My take is it's going to be a small play for me, just one unit. But after what I saw yesterday, I think Green Bay's defense, if they come in with a plan on a short week at home, where teams usually do good at home on short weeks, I'll lay the 3.5 and I'll live with it if Daniels does it to me because, I mean, he's a hell of a player. So if he beats them, I wouldn't be shocked. But at home, short week, after what I saw yesterday with that defense, the way they shut the Lions down and had a great plan, I'm gonna lay the 3.5 and see if Green Bay can do it again.
Yeah, I will join you. We'll be on that for a singular unit, but I think it's the right play.
All right, thanks for listening again. If you like the show, please hit that follow subscribe button and send the show to a friend for us. Follow us on X and Instagram at WhoYouGot33 as we will post picks throughout the week. And you can now watch some of our content on the KC Sports Authority YouTube channel. If you haven't checked them out, please go check them out. They post great content. And as always, please keep sending any comments, questions our way at whoyougot33@gmail.com. And if you are watching our YouTube channel, please check out our shorts and leave us comments there. We love all the comments we get. We've been getting several of them. Some of you are very funny, and we even appreciate the trolls. Jimmy, any final words?
No, last fantasy sleeper, Jonnu Smith is available in almost every league as well. Rodgers hit him, I think, 6 times for like 10 yards and a touchdown. He's going to get more looks. He's very talented. He's got the best quarterback he's ever played with. So if you are struggling at tight end, which many people are because there's only a handful of great tight ends, look at Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, amazing. Miami gave him away. But yeah, it's a great call. All right. Good luck, everyone. Let's cash some tickets. Let's go Packers on Thursday. And remember, it's never under till it's over.